meeting to order. Just so everybody's aware, again tonight we're live streaming. Moved by Councillor Liliev, seconded by Councillor Plummer. Resolved that the regular meeting commence at the hour of 7 p.m. All in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. Item number 2, addition or deletion to the agenda. There is none. Item number 3, disclosure of pecuniary interest. None.
Your Worship, I'd like to bring something up. Okay. It has been brought to my attention that it appears that I voted on agenda item 16-04 on the April 11th, 2018 council meeting. I did declare a pecuniary interest on this item, and I did start to raise my hand and realized I could not vote and stop. I apologize to council and will pay more attention in future.
Thank you very much. Councillor Liliev. Item number 4, approval of agenda. Moved by Councillor Plummer, seconded by Councillor Liliev. Resolved that the agenda be approved and circulated. Questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. Item number 5, delegation. Moved by Councillor Liliev, seconded by Councillor Plummer. Resolved that the presentation provided by Margaret Hartling, CEO, Clerk Treasurer, regarding overview of the 2018 budget. Would you speak on that, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to give a high-end overview of the budget deliberations that took place several weeks ago. Council has delivered. Council has can you hear me? Better? So Council has deliberated this matter, and they've agreed to the budget, so we have the bylaws available for presentation tonight. So this is for the public. So I'm going to start with an overview of the operations that the municipality is responsible for. So primary department here is administration, covers the following services. We've got 4 full-time staff and 1 part-time. We're responsible for all the financial functions such as taxes, water billings, functions of the clerk's department such as bylaws, minutes, licensing, and we also provide support to the mayor and council. Protective Services. Protective Services is responsible for municipal law enforcement, and we have 1 permanent part-time employee. With the amount of legislation that is currently being downloaded to the municipality, there is a likelihood that we may be requesting council to increase this for the 2019 budget. It's responsible for the administration of all bylaws containing penalty provisions, including but not limited to land maintenance, animal control, parking, prohibited areas regarding operations of motorized snow vehicles, all-terrain vehicles, discharge of firearms, etc., etc. Fire Department, Airport, Building and Planning are the responsibility of Mr. Cranny, as is by law. So it covers the following services. We have a fire chief who's full-time. We have 1 part-time staff that provides support to all of those departments, and a volunteer fire department. Fire chief, as I mentioned, is also the airport manager, the chief building official, and the municipal planner is also responsible for municipal law enforcement. At the airport, we have 1 part-time staff and 1 casual. Fire protection for the community with a volunteer fire department with up to 25 members. Operations of the municipal airport, building and demolition permits, planning through plans such as the official plan, which is currently under review. Public Works. Public Works covers the following services under Mr. Barnes. Administration is 2 full-time staff, which is Mr. Barnes and his admin assistant. The Public Works crew, we have 7 full-time staff, and the Public Works crew, and maintenance, we have 1 full-time staff. Public Works is responsible for the maintenance of all municipal infrastructure, such as water lines, roads, buildings, snow removal, garbage collection and disposal, oversee the operations at our water and sewer facilities, which are managed by Aqua. Community services. Community services covers the following areas. Administration is 1 full-time staff and 1 part-time staff. Community Center has 2 full-time, and the Ski Hill Golf Course and Pools and Parks consist of 3 seasonal staff and some summer students. Community Services covers the operations of all recreation facilities such as the Community Center, the Golf Course, Ski Hill, Pool, and Parks. Organize community events such as the Frosty Days, the July 1st celebrations, Haunted Walk, Craft Show, and the Community Christmas Party, and numerous others throughout the year. They organize recreation and leisure activities, and they network and partner with local groups and organizations in the community. So the budget summary, it's probably a little difficult for those to see at home. For those in the audience, I do have these slides on the back wall for you to look at your leisure. So the net operating costs, revenues, we're going to be raising $3.3 million. Our estimated expenditures are going to be $6.2 million, leaving us a net not loss necessarily, of $2.912. We're transferring to the revenue fund $804,000, to the revenue fund, to the reserve fund contributions $178,000. So what that means is from taxation, which is what everybody pays on their house taxes, we're going to be raising $3.895 million. Where does this all come from? So general government is 68% of our revenues. That includes grants, taxation, payment in lieu. Building and planning, the number is small, so it shows as a 0. Community services and library are 5% of our overall revenues. We get nothing from health services. Public works is 25%, and in this case it's significant grants. And airport provides 2% of our current year revenues. Where does the money go? Protective services, 13%. That includes such things as OPP, which is why that number looks quite high. Airport is 2%. General government is 27%. Building, planning, and EDC, 1%. Community services and library, 18%. Health services, which include the health unit, the DSAB, and the ambulance, is 3%. And public works is 36%. Where does money go? Many of the costs are determined by other boards, and these represent 16% of our tax levy, including capital. So these are the costs that the municipality has absolutely no control over. The health unit, the OPP, the District Social Services Board, MPAC, which provides our assessment services, ambulance, for a total of $622,634. In administration, we have some large numbers. Expenses are tax write-offs. That includes assessment appeals and vacancy rebates. The budget for write-offs for 2018 is $528,000. This also includes taxes on properties that the municipality owns and includes the low-income senior tax rebate that was initiated last year. We continue to focus on our tax collection efforts to collect as many arrears as we can, and we've had a certain measure of success with that. We are on the frontier of starting a process where we actually turn our tax arrears over to collection agency, and we have them assist with our efforts, and we've seen great success with that. It's something that we initiated on our own, and we've been a model for many other municipalities along the North Shore to mirror what we do. Legal and audit is an ever-increasing cost, and general operating expenses for all the departments: hydro, postage, building maintenance, telephone. The revenue sources for the municipality are primarily 3 broad areas: taxation, grants, and user fees. So revenue by source, taxes are 54%, user fees are 20%, so that's things such as your golf fees, airport landing fees, fees if Public Works goes out and does some work for you, and grants are numerous things that we apply for grants for throughout the year. So capital projects for 2018 by department. For administration, we're going to spend $657,000 this year. Airport, $50,000. Public Works, $1,772,000. Water, $1,573,000. Recreation, $372,000, for a total of $3,425,000 in capital expenditures this year. So some of those highlights are paving and asphalt repair. Due to significant staff shortages in the last couple of years, we've been unable to complete much of the work that has been done, and it's very evident in the community that we have to spend some time on that. So Public Works is already looking at it and identifying the areas that need the most work, and as soon as the bylaw is passed, they'll start looking at contracting and getting those repairs started. Asset management is going to be mandated. It is actually mandated by the province, so this is a necessity for us. But what it'll also do is allow us for better planning for the future and make us eligible for grants. If we don't have an asset management plan, we will not be considered. So this year is phase 1 of a 2-phase project. The fire truck and garbage truck, both of those exceeded their useful life and were in a good state of disrepair or needed a replacement. So the department's got pre-approval for those. Those have already been purchased and are operational right now. Reception upgrades to provide better access to persons with disabilities and to provide a more secure work environment for our staff. The front counter is being upgraded, and that work is already started and almost complete. We received a $50,000 grant from Accessibility Ontario for this project. Water treatment plant is a major project that's going to be undertaken by Public Works this year. So we're going to be doing major renovations at the water treatment plant. We've received a grant of $1.2 million towards this project. So the municipal component is very small. $134,000 is our share of that project. So that's quite substantial. Community services, some of the projects that we're going to be looking at this year are replacement of the roof of the community center. It's leaking quite freely. Boiler replacement and various other studies. Skate park, the design work and the drawings will be done this year, and construction will commence in 2019. Once all the funding is secured, we will sign off on that project. The Golden Age Center, work to ensure that the washrooms comply with the new use of the building will be completed this year. We've also received a $50,000 grant from Accessibility Ontario for this project, and the MGAC has committed $13,000 towards this project. So I'd like to explain notional tax rates. So what a notional tax rate is, the tax rate that was calculated using the prior year tax levy and the current year assessment. For the third year, Council's not increased the tax rate. This doesn't mean that your tax bill isn't going to be higher. Your tax bill may still increase if your assessment has increased this year. This is the same thing that happened for the last 2 years. 2017 was a reassessment year, and the next province-wide reassessment is going to be in 2020. We're going to be this is very difficult to see on the TV and even in the audience. We sent this out last year in the tax bills to explain the notional tax rate, and if you saw an increase, why you would see an increase. So we're going to include this in the tax bills again this year for people's information. So basically what it means is if you didn't have any assessment change in 2018, you would actually see a reduction in your taxes based on assessment. With an assessment increase of, say, $750 roughly on a $58,000 house, your taxes are going to go up by $45. So it's important to note that how much your taxes are going to go up is going to depend on your assessment. Does anyone have questions? Mr. Halloran, did you have questions?
Thank you, Margaret. So after this presentation, I resolve that presentation provided by Margaret Hartling, CEO to our Treasurer, regarding overview of 2018 budget be accepted as received. Questions or comments, Councillor? All in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. Item number 6, adoption of minutes. Moved by Councilor Plummer, seconded by Councilor Lelièvre. Resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting held on April 25th, 2018 are adopted as circulated. Questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. Item number 7, petitions. There's none. Item number 8, disbursement. Moved by Councilor Lelièvre, seconded by Councilor Plummer. Resolved that disbursement sheet number 2018-07, $138,599.33 as provided to council for information purposes only. Questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. Item number 9, correspondence. Resolved that correspondence item 0901 to 0902 be received as filed. Any questions, councilors? Yes, Councilor?
We're going to bring down 01.
Is this comment only, Councilor, or you want to revisit this?
No, it's just that when is this going to happen? Are we going to post it, or are we? How are we going about to?
This is only a letter acknowledging
Funding.
the funding, yes.
So that means we can go ahead and.
Then that will be brought back by the staff.
Oh, it's got to be brought back. Okay. No, I thought it was automatic.
Through the chair, it's just going to be a discussion item for council. There'll be no recommendation from council, from staff at this point. It will be a council deliberation which way they want to go.
Okay.
So we can put it on the next agenda or wait till June when I'm back, whatever council's wishes.
I would think that June would be more appropriate. A good possibility that it will be more this year. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll defer this to me until June. Something maybe? Give it up in the
So at the same time, we have to acknowledge the Nuclear Waste Management Organization and thank them for the contribution that they will be making through different steps of this program, which entitles the Township of Manitowoc to several thousands of dollars. Resolved that correspondence item 0901 to 0902 be received and filed. All in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. Item 1001. Moved by Councilor Lelièvre, seconded by Councilor Plummer. Resolved that the minutes of the meeting of the Thunder Bay District Social Service Administration Board held March 15, 2018, regular meeting, and March 15, 2018, closed meeting be accepted as received. Questions? Comments? All in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. Item number 11, verbal update. So we were asked earlier, I was asked earlier to comment on the report and progress in asking the MEDC, Economic Development Corporation, for a meeting with council. The letter was sent out to the chair, and so far they've asked us to reschedule, so it is now proposed for the June 6th. At this time, we're still awaiting the response.
June 22.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's later than that, but it is in June. All of council was copied on that email.
Okay, obviously I haven't read that one yet. That's good. Okay, so we're making progress there.
We do not have confirmation date.
Okay. The second item is to let council know that the Nuclear Waste Management Organization has applied for a permit to drill borehole in Hornpain only at this time. So Manitowaj is delayed and only delayed so far, so that we can work with our Aboriginal neighbors and try and get them on board again with us so that we can learn together to make some informed decisions on the process that we're going ahead. So again, I must stress that this is not, it is only a delay. Nuclear Waste felt that it was better for us to try and engage some more. They are also in the process. So it's only a small delay, and that's all I have for tonight.
Worship.
Any questions? Yes?
Question. On that note, nuclear management had said that they will only drill one, so that's been taken out of the equation?
No, it has not. Actually, Nuclear Waste has not decided yet where the borehole is going to be drilled. They've only applied for permits.
Okay.
Yeah, so they could apply for a permit for Manitowaj tomorrow also, for example, and then they have to decide where they're going to go. So it definitely does not mean that Hornpain will get a borehole drilled and we won't.
Thank you for that clarification.
Any other? Item number 12, verbal update by CEO Clerk Treasurer. Margaret, please.
Through the chair, I have some good news to announce that I shared with council. Earlier this year, we had discussions with the hospital, and we were asked to partner with them on a grant application for some transportation vehicle. We were successful in that. We got the notification last Friday. We shared that with the hospital. We haven't got all the details yet. We're just waiting on it to arrive. But that's a very good example of us working in partnership with someone else, because I'm going to call it the Handy Transit Vehicle. I know that's not what's called, but it was in a good state of disrepair and everything. So this should secure that for 5 more years. So it's a great partnership.
And that's a grant of several $1,000s, isn't it?
We applied, I believe, for 500. I'm sorry, I've been away for a couple of weeks now, so I'm just trying to catch up. But it gives us funding for 5 years, gives them money to purchase a new vehicle. We are going to own the vehicle because we applied for the grant. We will be responsible for insurance and emergency repairs if need be, because we have the mechanic, they don't, and they're going to be responsible for all the administration.
If I may, just for clarification, that is the replacement for the MyRide van?
Correct.
And any timeline on that?
I got an email Friday, and they said that they would call, so there was no messages on my phone when I got back this evening. So there might be a letter in my box, but it was just a fairly generic letter saying, congratulations, you're successful. So that's great news.
Yeah, thank you.
For your information, since I haven't seen you for a couple of days, I did receive the letter.
Here we go.
Item number 13, bylaws, 1301. Moved by Councilor Plummer, seconded by Councilor Liev. Being a bylaw to adopt the estimate for the sum required during the year 2018 for general purposes of the Corporation of the Township of Manitowaj, and to repeal bylaw number 2017-12, be read the first and second time. Comment on that, please?
Through the chair, the next three items are all finance bylaws. They're necessary under the Municipal Act in order for council to approve the tax rates and the bylaw. So the first one is just going to be to approve the budget, which is adopting the sums. The second one is to adopt the tax rates that are a result of the budget and adopting the sums. And the third one is the transition ratios.
Thank you. And furthermore, be read a third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2018-11. Questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. Item number 2, moved by Councilor Liev, seconded by Councilor Plummer. Be in the bylaw to provide for the adoption of the tax rate and to further provide for the penalty and interest in default of payment thereof for 2018 and to repeal bylaw number 2017-13 to read a first and second time. And as Margaret commented on this already, it is a bylaw that's required. And furthermore, be read a third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2018-12. Comments? Questions? All in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. Item number 3, moved by Councilor Plummer, seconded by Councilor Liev. Resolved that the bylaw to set the 2018 transition ratio and set rate reduction for prescribed property subclasses and to repeal bylaw number 2017-14 be read a first and second time. Again, it's as Margaret previously described. And furthermore, be read a third time, passed and numbered bylaw 2018-13. Questions or comments?
Just a comment, Your Worship. I want to publicly thank our CAO and our managers for the work that they put into the budget. There's a lot of work that goes into it, and unfortunately not all managers are here, but thank you very much.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. And I might add to Councillor Plummer's comment is the fact that for the past several years, management has been able to provide the council a draft budget with a zero increase on it, so it makes it a lot easier for council to work with. So we do have to commend them on a job well done. Moved by Councillor Liev, seconded by Councillor Plummer. Being a bylaw to enter into municipal funding agreement for the Main Street Revitalization Initiation Fund be read a first and second time.
Through the chair, this is funding that was announced by the province, and BMO is going to be administering it on behalf of the government, just like they do the gas tax. We have until 2020 to spend these funds. Ms. Patterson has done some work on looking at some projects, but it appears that there may be some funding available for recreation-type tourism programs and maybe something that we can apply for to get more bang for our bucks. So rather than bring projects to you today and spend those funds, we're going to take some time and see what's out there and see what we can use to enhance the project.
Thank you. Question? Yes?
I'm just wondering, with the Main Street revitalization, are we going to get some type of committee together to get us some ideas, or just how is it driven?
Through the chair right now, it's being addressed by management, and we've had some preliminary discussions at management meetings, and we do have some projects, but at NOMA we became aware that there is some funding available for tourism. Maybe we can piggyback on some economic grants, and we'll take up the task of talking to the downtown community to see what can we do, because the projects we have don't necessarily enhance their businesses and doesn't really revitalize downtown, but it's a beautification. So we're going to see what grants are out there and see what we can do to make better use of, because it's only $36,000 approximately, so that doesn't get you very far. So if we can piggyback that with even one other grant of $50 cents, you know, there are some funds out there that we may be able to apply for depending on if we find them up with.
If I may,
Yes, Councillor.
No, go ahead.
36,000 out of 27 million?
That would be correct. Per capita.
Yeah. I've heard this on last week there, and there's also lots of municipalities, right?
That's right.
The number is big at the beginning, but our share is not.
And I think I have to agree with our CEO that we have to try and get more grants to get more things going on there. And then once we find out how much money is available, then I would suggest also the same, that we ask our businesses to see what they would like to see. Thank you. And furthermore, be read a third time and pass and numbered as bylaw number 2018-14. All in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. Item number 4. Moved by Councillor Plummer, seconded by Councillor Liev. Resolved that Council is in receipt of the memorandum from Shauna Patterson, Director of Community Services, intern, regarding Adventures Playground. And be further resolved that from conclusion of Council review, the following councillors and or staff members will attend. Can you read the names, please?
Mayor Andy Major,
I will attend.
Councillor Raymond Liliev,
I didn't get the question. I'm sorry.
You won't be here.
I won't be here, I don't think.
Okay. So you don't need to know the question.
Wow.
Would you comment on that,
I'm sorry,
please?
Sure. So I know you as council have been aware in previous years there's been money put aside to pull the old playgrounds out. Prior to doing that, I think it's important that we have some research done as a background to other options to use those spaces for. I attended a seminar last fall regarding converting old playgrounds into more natural play spaces where kids can play in sand, play with logs, build things, have some shovels there so they can take their own initiative and be creative and, you know, learn to make mistakes, learn to use some tools. So in doing some research on these playgrounds, I was invited to a meeting with Andrea, and she had brought forward that she's bringing in a specialist who develops these type of playgrounds and has a really good background in this. So we've been invited to a seminar, professional session to learn a little bit more about it, and it'd be nice to have council, the CAO, whoever's available, to be able to attend and learn a little bit more together as a group to make some decisions going forward.
Through the chair, the reason we want to know who's attending is because you need to pre-register.
Since there's 2 councillors that are not available tonight, I think maybe we should send them an email asking if they would like to attend.
Will you be doing that, Mr. Mayor?
I will do that tomorrow. I'm assuming
No, I'm away on vacation.
That may be bound to cancel the vacation.
Well, considering Ray broke his big toe today. Yeah, we're going to cancel it.
All in favor? Carried.
Should I go?
Yes. Sorry, your name is there.
Perfect. Thank you. Any
Thank you,
questions?
Donna.
Actually, I should ask if there's any questions on
Well,
it.
my one question through the chair is, could bring some buckets and all that kind of stuff. How are we going to keep track of that kind of stuff? The kids not walking away with it.
Well, we'd hope it's like respectful of space. So we'd set up a space where everything would be hung, the kids could play with it, hang it back up, maybe do a couple sessions at the beginning with the kids in the neighborhood, in the area, to say, this is your space, respect your space. You know, we expect all the tools and things to be left behind when you leave. Keep it, you know. They work really well in other communities in Ontario and out west. I've done some research and called some other towns. They seem to work well with the community to get the kids outside and being more in nature and not playing on plastic and metal and the old playground style. So it takes us back to our times when we would play in the forest and build forts and pull algae out of the creek.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh,
Yes, Councillor?
I'm just wondering, they're not very big playgrounds.
no.
And, excuse me, does the size of the playground sort of limit, well, it does limit my attendance, but, like, middle of forest
It's not so much making a fort. Like, there'd be, like, tree stumps there so they can climb and make, like, little obstacle courses out of them. They could bring cardboard and build something. You know, it's not... That Brooks Barnett playground is very long, but it's not wide. So it has a more of a length space. It's more to get a new life to the playground that's kind of aged.
I think we'd be amazed to find the innovation that our children have
For sure.
to use the playground the way they like.
Yeah, and the end part of this day, they're having a family session at the same day in the evening. So you'll see if you come to the evening in the ball field, they're allowed to build whatever they want with the materials that they have. So it gives the parents an idea of what this could look like going forward too. So I think it's a great idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 1402, moved by Councillor Liev, seconded by Councillor Plummer. Resolved that Council is in receipt of Administration Report PW 2018-06 submitted by Randy Barnes, Public Works Superintendent, regarding ground control thawing unit. Be accepted as received. Would you speak on that, please?
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Back in February, I approached council with a concern we had in Shabandwan Lane behind the municipal office, adjacent to the Home Market Square. We were experiencing an uncommon event where there was a frozen water main, had frozen off water supply to the retail store, the bargain shop, and the adjacent unit to that building. And we were losing ground with that water main. We had no access to thaw it. We asked to rent a ground thawing heater to try and catch up to that frozen water main and thaw it out. Council gave permission to rent the unit. We had Wednesday, Friday, we had the unit here in Manitouwadge. We had it running. It ran for the weekend. Early the following week, the frozen water main had progressed through the intersection, and we were concerned that the frozen water main was going to cut off water supply both to the Hall Market Square, where our only grocery store is, and possibly go around the corner to the water supply to Manitouwadge Clinic and Manitouwadge General Hospital. At that time, the decision was made sort of on the fly that we rented a second heating unit to try to catch up to it. Later, early that week, we got the second unit, got it in place, and had it running. We slowed the spread of the frozen water main fairly quickly, and over the course of about 3 weeks, we had the ground thawed to about the 4-foot mark. For the 4th week, we decided to dig the area, which made it quite easy to dig, almost like you were digging in the summertime. The frozen ground was gone, the main was still frozen, but we accessed the main quite easily that afternoon, thawed out the line, and were able to backfill the hole the next morning, restoring water to the businesses that were without water. If you recall, when 14th of February, when I came to council asking to rent the unit, the discussion was at that time, if it worked well, we were going to purchase one. After evaluating the effectiveness of the unit, it did work, and it worked well. It wasn't as efficient as I was hoping it would be. It's sort of a 50-50 thing. It did work. It wasn't as effective as I had hoped. So at this time, I wouldn't recommend purchasing the unit. I don't think it was as effective as I'd like it to have been.
Any questions, comments? Yes, Councillor?
I already asked a question to the CEO. I was wondering, that was pre-approved, so the money just goes back into reserve, right?
Through the chair, it was approved out of reserves, so we didn't expend the funds, so we'll only take what we used, and the full purchase price, the balance of the purchase price was stated.
True.
Yes, Councillor?
So out of the reserve, 30,000 is going to come out of reserve?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so this is only to accept the recommendation of Randy that we do not purchase the unit. Resolved, the Council has received Administration Report Number PW 2018-06, submitted by Randy Barnes, Public Works Superintendent, regarding ground thawing unit, be accepted as received. All in favor? Opposed? None carried. Item number 1403. Moved by Councillor Plummer, seconded by Councillor Iliev. Whereas Council provides a yearly breakfast for all seniors of our community, held at the Manitouwadge Golden Age Center during the month of June, in the spirit of Seniors Month, as designated by the ministry responsible for seniors. And be further resolved that in recognition and appreciation of all the services that our seniors of this fine community have provided in the past, current, and future, Council will prepare breakfast, and we will discuss the time, date, and place. Who wants to start the
Discussion?
discussion?
I could start the discussion of the
Okay.
date and the location.
Okay.
So through the chair, we've been in touch with the Golden Age Club and asked them what would best suit them. And we do this every year to make sure that we don't have any conflicts with the club. And they have suggested the 22nd, and it's a Friday. We've also had an offer to host the event at the Pentecostal Church this year. I did also run that by Mr. Minty, and he had no difficulty with moving the event if council so chose to do that.
Any questions? Comments? Yes, Councillor?
My only comment is that at the old seniors facility, the breakers are popping all the time, and it's hard to do it efficiently. So if the seniors are okay with using the church wall, I'd be okay with it too. Whatever.
I have a little bit of a concern there, and I guess now is the time to voice it out. First of all, we've been doing this at the Golden Age Club for time eternity, with the same problems that we have today. I personally would not want to have it moved because seniors are used to doing that, to going there. I think there may possibly be some seniors that would not want to go to another building. And I have to consider that myself. And also, hopefully this is the last year at that building. Personally, I think that we, staff, wouldn't mind suffering through the last year and giving them their last one for that building. My only comment that I have on this. So, any other comments?
I'm fine out of me. I appreciate what you're saying. We are in our own building, and it is inconvenient
It is.
when you're popping the breakers constantly. But maybe it's the last hurrah, and that's right me.
Okay. Yes?
I'm okay with it too, Your Worship, after what you've just said. It just, if they're the last meal that we provide there, that's fine. I got no problem.
We'll rephrase that, not the last meal.
The
The
last
last
supper.
one we prepare.
Yes.
This is our last for this term.
Seniors, yes.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't get.
Oh,
we
I
go-
just
do we-
said we're
yeah.
okay at the old place.
So we're okay at the old place?
Yeah.
I know it's
I just want
inconvenient.
council to be aware that there was an option, so,
Yes.
rather than not disclose that.
So would you fill up the space, please?
We appreciate the offer.
And
I
maybe
will send our thank you and our regrets.
Thank you. And be it further resolved that in recognition and appreciation of all services that our seniors with this fine community has provided in the past, current, and future, council will prepare breakfast at the Golden Age Center on Friday, June. What date? June
22nd.
22nd.
Your Worship, there is a housing meeting at sometime towards the end of June.
this is in the morning.
No, this is in front of me.
All right.
16 and 17, I think, I
Right.
believe.
Yeah.
On Friday, June 22nd, 2018, with breakfast being served from 8:30 to 11 a.m. All in favor? Opposed? None? Carried? And as usual, councillors, staff is asking us to be there probably by 7 or 7:30. Thank you. 6:30.
You're coming too.
Okay. Moved by Councillor Liev, seconded by Councillor Plummer, whereas Section 239, bracket 4 of the Municipal Act 2001, SO 2001 C25, provides that before holding a meeting or part of a meeting that is to be closed to the public, municipality or local board or committee of either of them shall state by resolution the fact of holding of the closed meeting and the general nature of the matter to be considered at the closed meeting. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this meeting is hereby closed to the public, as the subject matter being discussed falls under the following section. Section number 1, section 239 in bracket 2, bracket C, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board. Trail bed. All in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. Thank you. That's it. That's all. All done. For you. Okay. Good night. Good night, sir. See you later. Hey? He's the vice president of the club. We'll make the... Oh. Halloran. Victor. Hector. Hector Halloran. Yeah. Halloran.